Well, out, her and Cassian. Why did I call him that?
I think it's because we've been talking about this book for an hour and 10 minutes.
I know.
At this point, we're like going crazy.
Welcome to Recapping Romantasy, hot takes on hot literature. Who are we?
We are me, Emma.
I am Maura.
And I am Tabitha. Recapping Romantasy contains mature content from fairy smut to dragon rider torture to monster genitalia. Be sure to check the episode notes for content warnings and a link to the transcript. Okay, everyone. We are back for A Court of Mist and Fury Part 2. Yep. If you remember, I did half of it, had a breakdown. Managed to finish the second half, managed to pull it together.
She's really trying her hardest.
I talk about this at the end, but I really feel like I've just hit a point where I don't like Sarah J. Maas books.
But I said this like literally 5 minutes ago when we were talking about it. I think taking notes is the death of this, because when I read ACOMAF, I was like, I loving it. I'm eating it up. I mean, there's issues that I talk about. I noticed while I was reading it that I talk about in part 1 and part 2. But man, I'm taking notes right now for ACOWAR, and I'm like, oh my God, I hate this so much.
That's the
and
thing.
It's not that bad when you're not taking notes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but even when I took notes for the Fall of Ruin and Wrath,
Yes.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't slog through it the way I did. I honestly even
It also
enjoyed
wasn't
taking
like
notes.
700 pages.
I honestly even enjoyed taking notes for Fourth Wing.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow, I hated taking notes for Fifth Wing. But yeah, I mean, I get you. I feel you.
All right. So let's do a really quick recap of part 1, what we've missed. So at this point in the story, everyone has PTSD. Everyone. Tamlin is an ass, and Rhysand helps Feyre escape the Spring Court to the Night Court. Mm-hmm. We learn about all of the Night Court characters. We engage in many antics, including visiting a child in prison and stealing from a blind woman.
But the child he just shows up as a child.
And the blind woman is like, evil.
Yeah. They're both evil characters. Yeah.
So we also fret about the imminent war with Hybern, which you remember is like the neighboring kingdom, Ireland. Essentially. Mm-hmm. And we're in the middle of plotting to steal shit from the Summer Court.
Yes.
All right, so that is where we are in the story. Here we go. Feyre agonizes about betraying Tarquin, the king of the Summer Court. If you remember, this is the place that looks like a Mediterranean palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lives in a sandcastle.
Yeah, I picture like Atlantis from The Little Mermaid, but like above ground.
Yeah, with the dildo turret.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so she agonizes about betraying him, but like she gots to get that book. She's got to get it.
Yeah, has it.
Rhys flies Feyre and Amren to the tiny temple on the tidal island where she's identified the book is. Feyre feels it. She feels the book, which is very handy for the purposes. Her and Amren dig a secret lead door out of the mud.
Yeah, I flagged this because to me, whenever characters decide to dig something out, I think to myself, how long could this reasonably take?
Hours, right?
Hours, you would think.
Well, because it's like sand, it just flows back into where you are.
Have you ever been at the beach and those kids are digging those like gigantic holes?
Yeah.
They're at it for days, man.
I know. It takes a long time. I once read a book where a teenager literally dug a coffin out of a standard like plot in a cemetery.
At least a day.
And it took her like 30 minutes. And on top of that, it was snowing. The ground was frozen. And she's just got a shovel.
Was that
Is she the Hulk?
boarding school book that I also read?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that called?
It was called A Lesson in Vengeance.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, this would literally take her days. And she's just like, I got it. And it took like 30 minutes. And she managed to dig through frost. And I was like, this is not realistic.
My mouth is like just open.
I know.
Do these authors not Google these things?
It wasn't a very good book.
Like, I'm like, creative license and magic and whatever.
Yeah,
but like, these are the things that I think about.
But yeah, okay. Yeah, moving on.
Right. Feyre calls on the part of her that has Tarquin's power to trick the spell into thinking that it's him. The spell to like get in and get the book to open the door. She does this a few more times until she tries it on the book, and then it fails and locks them inside the temple.
Fine.
Amren, using her monster strength, breaks the door and water starts pouring in. Feyre says the water already flowed up to my breast, which I think is a weird way to say it. Not up to my chest or up to my ribs, but up to my luscious heaving breast with the water swirling around my erect nipples.
Yeah, this is just like, we have to remind everyone we're in a romance, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know this seems very action-y for the main character, but she has voluptuous curves.
We make sure that the readers are horny at every moment.
Yes, obviously.
If there was water up to there on me, my thinking would be, oh no, my lungs, because it's almost like getting up to where my lungs
you would
are.
think,
Yeah.
yes.
Not, oh no, my boobs.
I'd probably be like a little annoyed that my clothes are wet, but like that probably wouldn't come up right now because you know,
Yeah, she's
she's
thinking about her lacy underthings being ruined.
right.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I don't know what sort of shoe wear they're wearing. Have you ever swam in shoes before?
I mean, it's not fun.
No, like if you're wearing tennis shoes, your feet float because of the rubber at the bottom. So,
Yeah.
Also, if they're wearing dresses to do this,
oh god,
that's
they're
a lot
drowning
of, like,
immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I can't believe Feyre knows how to swim, but she doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, I really have a hard time
Yeah,
with that one.
yeah, that's
like,
a good point.
She doesn't live by water.
She does
No,
not.
she doesn't.
No.
Whatever. Moving on.
So she puts Amryn on her back to escape. How I read this?
Yeah, like a spider monkey.
Wait, does Amryn not know how to swim?
I don't know. I think it's because they have to move fast or something.
Oh, but Amryn's whatever.
Cameron is small and therefore
I'm sorry.
slow.
Yeah.
Okay. They're both trapped by another locked door, drowning, and then who should show up but the water wraiths from the first part of the book. They're the fish girls that Feyre defended to Tamlin during the tithe event in the spring court. The water wraiths rescue them and deposit them on the shore. As Amryn and Feyre barf up water, they declare their sister's debt paid and they leave.
Okay, but where did these like water wraiths come from? Because if you remember, they're supposed to be trapped in this area. Mm-hmm. So did they like get really small and swim through the pipes? Are there pipes in this?
I don't think
I'm
there are
overthinking
pipes.
Maybe they got the door
Definitely.
open, but the current was too strong. I don't know. I read this part a couple times and it didn't flow super well.
No.
I have no answer for you.
All I know is they were drowning and these water wraiths showed up.
Well, that was nice of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So Rhys finds them, says they set off triggers, and he was going around knocking out guards. And now that they have the book, they need to skedaddle. They winnow back to the night court. Feyre talks to the book and unlocks it. It like whispers stuff to her. Amryn says the language is the Kizat Hidarach, the Leshan Hadokesh, the holy tongue, and she is going to be the one who tries to translate it.
What was that joke of?
It was from Dune.
Okay, thank God. That's what I thought, but I haven't seen the second one yet, or read the book.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about the resurrection of Jurian again. I forgot that was on the table.
I was like, wait, who is he? I have a really hard time remembering who Jurian is. Mm-hmm. And I realize that he's kind of a big like background character, but every time they like, hey, Jurian, I'm like, who the fuck is Jurian?
Yes, every time. And then every time I read his name, I want it to be Julian. And he's like, I'm reading through ACOWAR right now, and he's a pretty big deal in ACOWAR, but literally when he showed up, I like opened Google and the book at the same time, and I was like reading through like the ACOTAR wiki, trying to like avoid any spoiler, but still trying to remember who he is. I'm like, you're evil now, but you were good, but then you were evil, and then you were in a ring at one point, and now you're not, and I can't remember how any of this happened. And Sarah doesn't repeat it at all.
No.
She's like,
no.
Instead of me giving you one paragraph of information to kind of like, jog that memory, hey, Julian's here. We're moving on.
Just
remember
this
him?
blanket assumption that we know who that is.
Yeah. No memory at all of that.
All right, so back in the night court, Feyre finds Rhysand brooding and drinking outside because the summer court sent them 3 blood rubies, a sign that Tarquin put a price on their heads.
That's a pretty pricey
Yeah.
gift.
Well,
just to say.
she already got some black diamonds from him back when they were flirting, so
I mean,
I guess
it turned out pretty good for them.
yeah.
He has that treasure room.
He does.
Yeah.
He's got more treasure than he knows what to do with. When he really could just send a letter, said, "Hey, you're on my shit list."
Yeah. Rhys comments that he should have wiped the mind of the guards rather than just knocking them out, which, like, fucking duh.
Yeah, I enjoy.
Just kill him.
Yeah, I mean, I like that Rhysand makes mistakes and is fallible in this book, but also his mistakes are pretty big.
Yeah.
Like, and preventable, and like fly in the face of his being this dude playing 4D chess all the time. I had a hard time grappling with his mistakes.
Yeah.
Feyre tries to flirt with him to improve his mood. When she leaves the room, she has a sexy daydream and then walks into a post and realizes it is Rhys sending her the sexy vision. Sure. That night, she wakes up to weird things happening. The house rumbling, the wood warping, the shadows multiplying. Rhys is having a nightmare. She goes to him, wakes him up, and calms him down. It's all very touching.
And this is where I make a little note where I'm like, the only thing I care about is like, he's naked now, right?
Yeah, he's naked.
He went to sleep naked. Have either of you ever slept naked before?
No.
I think I've tried once or twice and I don't like it.
No.
I find myself too exposed. Also, I get cold easily, so.
Let me tell you a story.
Oh, no.
No. It's a good one. So when I think was like a freshman or something in college, I was like a swim coach for a local like recreation team. And it was so fucking hot in my parents' house. And I have siblings. There are other people live in this house. I would never sleep naked. I mean, I have my own room, but the potential that someone could come in. So I was like, no, it's too hot today. I'm sleeping naked. It's so unbelievably hot. Like I can't have a stitch of clothing on me. Slept naked. It was gonna be fine until a child throws open my door. Not a child I'm related to. A child on the swim team that I coach.
Oh, no.
Why were they in your house?
Well, let me get to that. So we do this thing, like the practice before like championships. We have like a big wake up where we get these, not like buses, but like the city has like these little small buses for like the, elderly senior population. And so we like get those and they go around and pick people up and like, it's like a fun party for the whole kids and stuff. It's like a really cute activity, but usually the coaches are a part of waking them up. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't worried about being woken up because I'm the person who goes and wakes them up. Well, like my mom is friends with these people and they're like, wouldn't it be so funny if we woke them up too? So I'm naked. Luckily I had a sheet covering me, but these like children are opening my room, like about to like pounce on my bed. And I'm like, get out! Like,
it's like a nightmare.
It was a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
It was such a nightmare. And I get so hot sleeping in my apartment. And all I can think about is like, I would just be like a little more comfortable if I slept naked. And even though I live by myself right now, just the potential.
Mm-hmm. You never know what's going to happen.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
you never
exactly.
know.
Right?
The building could burn down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you really want to spend like the extra 5 minutes it takes groping around for some clothes?
No,
you don't.
No.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was my traumatic story. And then I had to tell everyone because they were like, why did you yell at those kids? I'm like, number one, what a horrendous way to wake up.
Yeah.
Number two, I was butt-ass naked under the sheet. So all the parents thought it was really funny and they shared the story with everyone. And I've never slept naked again.
Why are parents that way?
I know.
Ugh.
Anyways.
Rhys and Feyre exchange magic notes again. He says the mountain and star tattoos on his knees are to show he bows, quote, before no one and nothing but my crown, end quote.
I really
Jesus
love.
Christ.
Yeah, that she keeps on going back to that throughout the book. She's like,
Yeah.
this is so meaningful that he's bowing right now because he only bows before the crown. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Also, important question for you guys. Do you find tattoos to be attractive?
It really depends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really does
doesn't it?
depend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Placement, what it is,
Mm-hmm.
like what's going on
If you have like a
underneath it.
SpongeBob tattoo, no.
Yeah, so many questions.
But also like style really matters to me.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
like the realistic style looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a bear,
Yeah, no. Even if it's just like, yeah, this is a tattoo of the bear that almost killed me. I'm like, no. Still, this is not
No.
acceptable.
no. A good thigh tattoo, like just one though. I don't like. I mean, tribal tattoos are they're old. Not old, but
They're kind of coming back. They
I
call
know
it
they
like
are.
cyber sigilism now or something.
Do you know
But to me, they just look like
yeah,
tribal tattoos.
yeah. I don't like blackout tattoos.
Oh,
You know, I was going to say, I was at a show earlier this year that was like, oh God, what would you call it?
Music?
Metal, screamo-ish music. And I saw so many blackout tattoos. And sometimes I think the look works for that scene, but I can't really enjoy them because whenever I see a blackout tattoo, I'm like, did you used to be a white nationalist?
Oh.
Are you covering up something like really bad?
I was just gonna say you can't do anything with a blackout tattoo. Like with another tattoo, you could get it covered up. Maybe if it like fades, you can do something
Well, that's
different.
the thing is I assume that
You
they're
have no
covering up
choice.
something terrible that they had in their
Yeah.
youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something really tacky, like, you know, I love my ex or whatever.
Right. Or like
I just ask because it's so incredibly common in Romantasy, apparently, for these men to have tattoos.
Oh, and
or just
they
romance
all
in general,
have garbage tribal tattoos.
It's all garbage
and I'm like, there's so many other styles we could go with, guys. No, thank you.
Or apparently little mountains on your knees.
Little mountains with stars.
Those are cute, but every time I see someone drawing them, they look like the tattoos that go near the like greater than, less than signs. That's like God over everything, you know? Like that's what they kind of look like. And I'm like, Risa's supposed to be this like alpha feminist, if that makes sense. And then he's got these like little dainty tattoos on his knee. They're just
I
wonder who did his tattoos.
That's another.
Well, they're magic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Do you think you just will them into?
You just will them into existence. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So Amryn gets to translating the book. Feyre brings her some blood because, if you recall, that's what she eats. She then spends the next few weeks just sort of relaxing and working out, learning more about her powers. And then finally, the queens respond. If you remember, they sent a very polite little letter to the mortal queens because they needed the second half of the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they go to her sister's house in the mortal lands and wait for the queens to arrive. And then they realize that these mortals can winnow. But how?
Yes. So this is where I was like, they missed all the obvious signs. But also, apparently, when I was going back to double check this, it was that they got this power from the Feyre people during like the treaty situation 500 years ago. That's apparently this winnowing ability has just like, I don't know, passed down to all the queens previously. And so now they just have this winnowing ability. And I was like, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah, I know it's because they're trying to like, I think Sarah J. Maas is trying to make these queens like feel powerful and special, you know, that they can winnow and like a threat to the Fey world somehow. But it's just so stupid and random. I'm like, first off, we've never talked about kingdoms in the mortal land prior to this, and now they're just like very important and also randomly have magic.
Also, did you imagine that they were all living in the same castle together? like a sorority of queens? And like, who are they? What are they doing? What
they all have their own little like wing. Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that I could think of. Because like, well, we'll just send you to the mortal queens. I'm like, do they all live in the same castle?
Right.
Like, what is their job?
Yeah. One of them's in charge of finance.
Right.
One of them's in charge of communications. One of them's in charge of sanitation.
It's like, no wonder the human kingdoms are so messed up, because I'm like, that's not how you rule things.
There isn't even a human kingdom that I know of.
I did not think of it like that.
Tabitha's, I know about feudalism, etc.
I was gonna say, I guess I thought of them as like small medieval kingdoms, like. This one probably ruled Coburg. This one probably ruled Bavaria. This one probably ruled Madeira, something like that.
You're so logical,
That is very cute and very logical, yeah. And meanwhile, I'm just like, they lived in this sorority house with other queens.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, too.
I am confused as to what the fuck is going on in the mortal realm, because...
No idea.
Okay, so, like, Prithian is the UK. We know that.
Yes.
And... the mortals get to live in the little sliver on the bottom, but then apparently there's a continent where all the other mortals live, and we know jack shit about that.
Is that where the queens come from, or do they come from that teeny tiny sliver?
I assume they come from the continent.
No, I assumed they came from the sliver.
So the queens come from the continent, but there's also there's that line that divides them. The wall divides them along that little tiny sliver in the UK, and then it continues through the continent. So you have fairy people who live on top of the wall, and then you have the humans on the other half of the wall.
Yes, yeah,
that goes through the continent.
Ran away to those other fairies.
Yes, correct. And apparently the mortal human queens live in the continent, because they keep talking about how like, I don't really care about this hybrid thing because they have to conquer you before they get to us. And I'm like, okay, that's not how strategy works. But okay, sure.
All right, so the queens show up, and Feyre very quickly judges their appearances. Like, this one's hot, this one's fat, this one's old, etc. So the queens are dicks, and they say that they've been preparing the continent for war. But where Feyre's family lives, fuck them. They talk some shit about Rhys, and Maura gets all imperious and threatens them with prophecy. They demand proof that Rhys is telling the truth.
I was so confused by this part because Maura's like, bitch, I will truth you. And I was like, what does that mean?
No, I don't know.
I find the whole thing with Maura to be very strange because I knew the Morrigan is a figure in like British Isles history, like folk history, pagan religious history. I don't know what she is. It's just a figure who kind of foretells war stuff, but I feel like Sarah J. Maas is just assuming we know that and then doesn't explain. Like, it's one thing if you're going to explain that that's what that character is in the book, or you make sort of a vague nod to it, but actually explain what the fuck this character does.
Yeah.
No.
Instead, she just kind of assumes like, yeah, the Morrigan, everybody knows this and moves on.
My power is truth.
I know.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, and then done.
Yes.
And like I said, I wasn't even 100% sure like that I knew I knew what I knew about it, and I had to look it up. So just a weird choice. All right. So back in Scotland, or, the Night Court, we get some exposition about Miriam.
I think.
Didn't you do the audiobook?
I did it in the audiobook as Miriam in the audiobook.
I mean, I read this book. I
Which is
listened to the first one.
Oh.
What is it again?
Miriam.
It's such
Miriam.
an old lady
Okay.
name.
So we get some exposition about Miriam, half Fey, half human, former lover of Jurian, falling in love with a Fey prince back in the day, 1,000 years ago or whatever, when this big war happened. Apparently, the two of them have been living in hiding since then. I could not give less of a shit about this.
It's a weird place to put this.
No, and like Miriam and her whatever lover, Draken, I think is his name, they're like kind of important in the next book. I think Sarah just got messed up when she was editing and she meant to put this in ACOWAR, but instead put it in ACOMAF.
Why are they bringing this up? Are they going to like show them to the queens? Are they going to reveal them? What? No, you idiot. Rhys is going to show them Valaris. Then why the fuck were we just talking about them?
Again, it's supposed to be an ACOWAR.
Yeah, because they're just like, none of this matters to us. It's like, I think this is hilarious because like Maura's like, my power is truth. Everyone knows that in this room. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you the story of a half human, half Fey lady.
Yeah.
Living peacefully with a Fey prince, and everything is cool. Our people can live together, even though this is just anecdotal evidence, right?
Yeah,
But whatever.
right.
And so the queens are like, we don't believe you. And I'm like, what was the point of
If
all
her
of
power
that?
is truth, yeah.
So I initially thought that what he was going to do was he was going to show them the Court of Nightmares, which is the one under the mountain. But no, he's actually, so they have to go to the Court of Nightmares to get some sort of little object that will allow them to show the queens.
They have to
there was an extra step in there, I
Yes.
forgot.
Yes.
They have to get the magic mirror from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, the orb, Majig.
Yeah.
I think it had an actual name, but I can't remember what that
I don't
It's
understand.
called Veritas.
Okay, that would make sense.
I don't really understand why, and maybe it's because I read this book like 6 months ago. Not really, 4. But I don't really understand why showing them Valaris is supposed to help them convince to fight with them against Hybern.
think
Because
it's
like,
just to show
hey,
them that
look
they're-
how much better we are than you.
I think it's just to show them that they're like trustworthy, like they're willing to share a secret, which seems stupid and a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the whole thing was that like we can't trust you because you are the Court of Nightmares. And he's like, oh well, by the way, that's been
actually
a lie
just fake.
that
yeah.
I have successfully finagled for literally ever. And
Yeah.
there's this city that we have, and that actually shows what we really are. We're actually good guys. And they're like, how do you? We can't trust you.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. I mean, fine.
Yeah.
All right, so they have to go into the mountain to go to the Court of Nightmares. Rhys flies her towards the entrance of the mountain. She fondles his wing. They banter about them being in an erogenous zone. He says he's never been so vulnerable as to let someone touch them during sex, to which Feyre says, too bad, because I bet you could get into some interesting positions with those wings. What does that mean? Does it mean flying sex?
I mean, Tabitha, do you want to know?
Just
They
you,
have sex while flying?
Tabitha. just you wait.
Do they?
Just
That
you
seems so
wait.
impractical.
Yeah, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming down the pike.
Also, I just like, what's like the human equivalent of this then? If your wings are out all the time and they're your erogenous, like, does that just mean they're kind of like just with their dicks out, you know?
Well, no, I imagine it would be something like an ear or something where like some people
But
are
in-
kind of into it, but you shouldn't walk up to your partner and like touch their ear
Sure,
if you
fine,
know
fine.
that it's like something that makes them feel shivery.
Yeah.
Especially before you're like even really involved with each other. She's over there
Yeah.
fondling his wings.
But there's
and
a I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but
No, go ahead.
there's a line in this section that I highlighted, and I didn't type it in here, but it's literally like, it's been said that some Illyrian males can get off by just having their wings touched.
Yes.
So I'm like, again, what body part is this? Like, do they just have like just their ball sack hanging out? You know, like.
I mean, have you not seen that trope in other romances where it's like somebody can come just from like getting their feet touched or their hands or their ears?
They touched my inner elbow.
Yeah,
or their neck, maybe.
But I
like look at in Bride when he just like sucks on her neck for a while and she's into it.
No, I thought it was the reverse. Oh yeah. Well, she comes from just feeding on him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. Fine.
I mean, it's fine. I do think it's kind of weird that the wings are the thing that does it. But I also see it.
They're just out always, which is like in prude culture, you know, you cover up your erogenous.
Maybe it's because they're literally covered in leather. All the rest of them is just covered up with leather, right?
But
does the rest of them feel anything?
So
ever?
like assless chaps.
Look, if you're going to have a monster fucking section of this book, then the monster parts have to be sexy. You have to make them erotic.
I know.
That's true.
Fine.
Yeah, because this is bordering monster fucking. It really is.
Any story you've ever read with a character with a tail, it's an erogenous zone too.
I know. I'm just overthinking things to be rude.
Also, while we're on this, how do you think that he's carrying her while they fly? Do you think it's bridal style, or is she like on his back like a pony?
It can't be piggyback because then it would be impeding his wings.
Yeah. So I do think it's totally bridal style. I don't think that SJM can fathom another type of style.
I know it's bridal style, but they never talk about being like picked up bridal style. Like there's no like description of how. So I picture that he's got his arms under her arms, and she's just kind of like dangling, like when you pick up your cat sometimes.
Maybe it
the
is
cat carry
just
style.
the little legs dangling.
Maybe it is very similar to how Taryn carries her in Darna and some sort of little baby Bjorn.
Oh my god!
They have little baby Bjorns.
Yeah.
Honestly, Sarah, you should have put that in. Should have thought that through and put that in there.
I know.
There's so many times that these people get carried around.
So as they're flying, someone in the woods below starts firing ash arrows at them.
I can't remember, but it doesn't really seem like they care much about this development.
No, like, they don't. They just kind of stop, try to find him, and then keep going.
Because I think it also like it prohibits Rhysand from using his power eventually down the line, right? Like he can't use his power to winnow because they find out like he's been tracked.
Yeah.
No, they're tracking him. So like
Yes.
wherever he shows up, they're like, haha, and they start like firing ash arrows at him and stuff. And I'm just like, and they're like, it happens.
Yeah, right now they're just like, boy, that was weird, and they keep going. So they go into the Court of Nightmares, which is a whole ass city under the mountain. They call it the Hewn City because we need another place name to deal with. Like this is Middle Earth or something. We have more clothing descriptions. She talks about how badass all the boys look. Rhys goes to the throne, pulls her onto his lap, and they do this weird public dom sub thing with lots of fondling where she's like his pet.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of like inner thigh touching and like grazing of her boobs with his fingers and stuff. Yeah.
So Rhys calls Keir, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Keir, Mor's father, up to him. He's the guy who like takes care of the Court of Nightmares while Rhys is gone. Sarah J. Maas refers to his eyes as his brown eyes were like old soil. There's definitely no flex.
Yeah.
No flex at all.
Those are some real old sad eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we know he's bad.
Yes.
They talk court business. Have we gotten into Mor's trauma? I like skipped over everybody's backstory.
Yeah, we really didn't go over anyone's trauma in detail, but she has some.
I don't know. Her family was super shitty to her. Like, basically, they were going to marry her off. And she was like, I would prefer not to. And so she slept with, I believe, Cassian.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 1,000 years ago. And her family was like, well, now you're damaged goods. So we're going to beat the shit out of you and leave you like on the edge of the woods to die.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they were going to make her marry Eris, right?
Eris from the
From
Autumn
the Autumn Court.
He's Lucian's older brother.
Yeah, and she like knew they were fucked up.
And like virginity is so important to these people.
Yeah, because remember the patriarchy also exists in this world.
Yeah.
So after that, Rhys like took her in. So Feyre somehow gets turned on during this scene.
Yeah.
The words she says are, "My breast tightened, became full and heavy, aching."
Yes.
Okay,
Sexy.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but anyone who describes their breasts as heavy and aching, like, That's a sign your period's about to start. Yeah. Like you better like lay down some pads or something.
My breasts have tightened, became full and heavy, aching. I better go pump. So this chapter is mainly just pages and pages of them grasping, panting, and almost fucking in front of everyone. Eventually, Kier calls her a whore, which, like, I don't know what he thought would happen.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even try to play it off as, like, a misogynistic joke between him and Rhys. Like, that's a good one you got there, or something like that.
He just, like, literally says it under his breath or something.
Yeah. He just straight up insults the High Lord's current paramour.
Yeah. It's like, that's not...
a stupid choice.
Yes.
So then Rhys telekinetically breaks a bunch of his arm and finger bones and tells him that he is not allowed to go to a healer. Which I honestly thought was going too far because that man still needs to get work done for him.
I know. Right? I did. Yeah. I was like, isn't the pain of getting your bones broken enough? Now you
need them to reset properly.
Yeah. He's crippling him for life. Yeah. What he's doing.
He still works for him.
There's a war that's going to happen soon that we know about. Is he not going to fight in it?
I ask remember if he does.
No, he does. I've passed that part in ACOTAR. He's an important player.
Does he have an okay arm and finger?
Actually, they don't talk about it at all.
Of course.
All right, so they leave and Rhys winnows them to a scenic mountain lake to apologize for his behavior and to kind of trauma dump. He says, "I will kill anyone who harms you," which girls seem to like in these guys.
They love it in a romantasy. That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, again, I know it's like I'll protect you thing, but if someone said that to me, I'd be like, again, therapy, please.
Yeah, it's like you need to seek some.
Yeah.
She's like, "Fine, but don't like make me stay at home or lock me up." And he's like, "I would never, don't you ever dare compare me to Tamlin."
He complains multitudes. He's a feminist, but he's also an alpha male.
Yes.
She accuses him of not being open. He accuses her of not knowing what she wants.
Barf.
He winnows them back to the townhouse. He leaves, and she realizes right now that she wants to fuck him.
Yeah.
I mean, girl.
Right now, I know. It's just like you had so many opportunities to realize this before, but okay, fine.
Yeah. Next day, Rhys ghosts her, and she visits Amren. Amren tells her that they will leave the city for safety, but must stay for a sick party first.
Sorry, just reading it that way, it makes me realize how stupid that was.
Right?
Yeah, she is. She's like, we're in great danger. Just kidding. We have a really important... We have a ball to dress up for.
Yeah.
We can go tomorrow. They'll wait.
Yeah.
It's not like this ball is a perfect opportunity to attack.
Also, who just abandons their amazing, great city that should be,
yeah,
secret and sacred, and they just are like, nah, peace out.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've started to figure out at this point that somebody's tracking them, so they're like, okay, we should get out of the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that was my assumption. I don't know if she actually says that.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I don't even know. Apologies, readers.
Yeah, sorry. Listeners.
So she sends Rhys a series of pissy messages in their little magic paper, which he ignores.
Cute.
All right, so Feyre's getting ready for this ball. She says, "The neckline grazed my collarbones, the modesty of it undone by how the gown hugged areas I suppose a female might enjoy showing off." Shut the fuck up, Feyre.
Yeah, Feyre, our feminist queen.
Oh, I'm such a boy's girl. I don't wear dresses. I suppose women might like wearing dresses like this. I'm above all that.
Is Sarah J. Maas secretly a Mormon that we don't know about? Like, is she going to be another one?
So Cassian is the one who takes her to the Starfall, which is this ball. I don't want to say Starfall ball because it's hard to say. She chats with people. Then the stars are literally falling. Rhys tells her that they are migrating spirits. They make up from their fight, and they're about to kiss when they get hit by stars, which I got really upset by because I was like, didn't you just say these were the souls of the dead?
Yeah, a dead soul.
And they like splatter on them. So I'm like, are they like dead forever now?
That's a really good question. There's really no explanation.
No.
I just have to say that I've never been more annoyed in my life.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities to kiss before now, and then like right now, right now, they're about to do it, and then Sarah J. Maas is like, ha ha, and smacks Rhysand with like a dead soul glitter bomb, which is basically what it is. Like there's glitter everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is really the moment when I realized like the romance beats were all messed up in this book, and I accept that Feyre had to get over Tamlin in the first 50% of this book. I get it, like for narrative purposes. But I wanted them to kiss here, or if not here, before, during the public sex incident, or just after that, so that they could like break the tension somewhere and have a reason to be mad at each other or upset. But no.
Doing it under the mountain would have been a good idea, because then it would have been like a first but fake kiss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then they could have like dealt with that.
No. Yeah. Sarah's our edgelord queen. Also, I just realized this. Have you seen Howl's Moving Castle?
Yes.
I have not.
Yeah.
No.
Those
really,
answers check
like
out.
it.
Yeah, I think you would too.
Okay.
But like, this reminds me of when I went to Scotland, I was like, every time I learned about something like a legend or an area, I was like, did Sarah J. Maas just like take a gap year trip to Scotland and then like decide
that's
to
where
write?
I think she got the Oregon from.
100%.
And now I'm like, did she then also watch Howl's Moving Castle? Because the scene where Rhys is like, where he's basically like warping the townhome or castle, I don't remember what building they're in, when he has his like nightmare, Howl does like the same thing where he like becomes goo and like the spirits like come out and are like fucking everything up. And then now the Starfall Ball, like the way she describes the stars falling and how they like look and they're like glitter and they're technically souls as well. I'm like, is this just Howl's Moving Castle?
Oh yeah, good point.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Thanks.
So after that happens,
I will.
so after this, they dance together. Still no kissing.
Yeah, fuck that. I was so mad.
I know. Okay. I rewrote the way that I think that this should go, like in, I think, typical romance terms. So like first, this is at the Starfall Ball. They're chatting, okay? He asks her to dance. They dance. Gaze into each other's eyes. Boom. He gets hit with a dead soul. She giggles. Leans in to wipe it off with her thumb. He leans the rest of the way in and boom, they kiss. And am I a better writer than SGM? No, absolutely not. But did I still kick my feet at like this little scene and where they were like giggling and stuff and, you know, having a cute time? Yeah, fine. But I was annoyed. They should have kissed.
Literally, Emma, that would have been perfect.
Thanks. Sarah, if you need help, call me up.
Emma is available for your plotting needs.
So now that the sick party's out of the way, they go to an Illyrian war camp to hide out. It's cold. She's still agonizing about Tamlin.
How? Just let them go already.
It turns
That's
out
why they haven't kissed.
It turns out Illyrians are also extremely patriarchal, and Rhys is trying to get them to, first, not mutilate women by cutting off their wings, and also, like, train them for the military.
God, I really hated the Illyrians. Every single time they bring in, like, there's a crappy thing that they do, and I'm like, why do we focus on them so much?
Because she needed the Dothraki from Game of Thrones put in there, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her about the Blood Rite, which is some sort of murder-heavy survivalist training Rhys and his boys did. He tells Feyre about the beef between him and Tamlin. Tamlin and his family killed Rhys's mom and sister, we find out. So Rhys went with his dad to kill Tamlin's family. Oh, but his dad swore that he wouldn't kill Tamlin's mom because, you know, women are, like, weaker, not involved in this kind of stuff, apparently. But his dad did, and Rhys was horrified.
Right, because he's a feminist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suddenly, Feyre decides she wants to paint Rhys. Just like this entire chapter is random filler. There's no point to this.
Yeah.
No, some of this like feels important, but I feel like she just didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm just gonna put it in here now.
Yeah.
You'll need it in like 7 chapters and maybe in the next book, but just take it in now.
It could have came out like later in the conflict between Rhys and Tamlin. They killed each other's respective moms.
That would have been a good thing to have in your back pocket, knowing earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like something has to have happened. Like in it, you kind of like it comes out naturally, not just like as one big info dump. Oh, hey, by the way.
I feel like half of that could have been at the first couple parts of the book. Tamlin could have been like, fuck Rhys. This is why.
Yeah.
And kind of Rhys, when she's there for her like Persephone visits, is like, well,
oh my God, they could have started talking
here's
about
this now.
in the
like,
first book. They could have started talking about it, and they could have said something like, "Well, hey, remember that time you killed my mom?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Whoa, what? That actually happened?
Remember that
and
time
Tamlin
you
would be
also
like,
killed my
"No."
mom? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cassian makes stew.
Thanks for adding that in there.
Yeah.
As one would. It's cold out.
Yeah.
It's stew weather.
Yeah. There's more training in the woods, and then suddenly Lucian is there with some spring court guards. Lucian is like, oh, thank Cauldron. We've been looking for you for months. Let's go. She says no and keeps an arrow pointed at him. They come towards her, and she manages to winnow away. She materializes next to Rhys. Rhys and Lucian bicker. She tells Lucian that she's not going to go with him and that he was a shitty friend.
And he was. Okay, I need to take a break here to go on one of my many lengthy extended rants about what a shitty person Lucian is. I don't like him. I don't like him as a man, a character, or a friend to Feyre, because I don't really think he ever was.
No.
Like, fandom like loves to kind of like read between the lines, as you said, about like insisting that he and Feyre have like this deep friendship, and like he puts himself before her. He chooses Tamlin before her, even when he knows what's happening to her. He's just like, oh, Pat, I'll try to talk to him. And you know he never does. But like then he's still picking Tamlin even now. And he's like, come back. We've all have to come back to Tamlin, even though I know exactly what he did to you. And he doesn't care. He's just like, come back to the Spring Court because it would make my life easier.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I want to punt this man down a well. That's how I feel every time he comes on the scene.
I think Lucian is there because every other man in this series so far is an alpha.
Yes, that's very true.
So he's there for those of us who prefer simps, and the options are limited. Not that this actually makes Lucian any more likable, but I think he's meant to be a contrast to the alphas.
I think you're both right. I think the fandom is definitely like, at least now that I'm reading ACOTAR, he does some redeemable things. Him and Feyre are in this like weird kind of like subservient position to Tamlin, where I think people read into that a lot, and they're like, they're both in tough spots. You know, they have to deal with like Tamlin's like anger issues, and you know that Lucian's also a victim of Tamlin, and as is Feyre. So I think like that people are reading in like to that kinship that they have there, that like kind of comes out a little bit in ACOTAR, especially towards the end of when she's like, spoiler, tricking everyone into like fucking shit up for the Spring Court. Like Lucian knows what's going on. Like he's like, I see you, I'll come with you type thing. But I don't know. I think they want a soft boy, and he's kind of that. I
do think he's a soft boy.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's not a problem for me that he comes off as the soft boy here, and that someone needs to be a soft boy.
Yeah.
But I also need him to like, if he's going to be a friend to Feyre, be a friend to Feyre.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and pretend like the things that Tamlin did to her are not that big a deal.
Right.
You know, like he knew they were bad, and he's still like, come back with me.
Yeah.
That would make everything better. And like, where are you coming from, bud?
I know. I think because he's like Elaine's supposed mate. Again, spoiler. People are like, we have to kind of like negate his moral grayness more so. Like we're all cool with Rhys's moral grayness. I think whatever. But I have thoughts and feelings on that. But
oh, I do too. Everyone does.
Yeah, Lucian's is he's an interesting character.
He is, and I can't wrap my head around him a lot of the
No,
time.
I hope he gets written more into this newer book that's supposed to be Elaine focused.
I believe it will. I think we'll get a lot more on him in this book, but also I don't think things are going to end well for him either.
I cannot imagine how boring a book about Elaine is going to be.
Yeah.
Well, Elaine and Lucian, the two most boring characters that they can throw at you.
And then Azriel, the third most boring character.
Yeah, he has like no personality.
Yeah, he's like no lines.
I kill people for like, you know,
yeah,
for Rhys. That's what I do.
I live in the shadows. That's it. He's like Batman. You know,
I like Azriel because he's quiet.
But in a book, that's boring.
He needs to do a little bit more. But I'm sure he will.
Maybe we'll see.
It'll happen.
All right, so she has this confrontation with Lucian, and then she uses her shape-shifting magic to give herself bat wings, just for, like, the drama. Lucian and his cronies leave, and Rhys flies them away, telling her she looks good with wings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they go to an inn to hide out for the night, taking the last tiny room with one bed.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Oh, my God, what could they possibly do? In the past, Rhys would have just, like, magicked another bed, but he doesn't do that this time.
Wow. He's like, here's to hoping.
She spends some more time thinking about how fucked up the Spring Court dynamic is, letting her wither away with zero intervention by anyone.
Yeah, but, like, who's going to intervene? They don't have, like, domestic abuse laws in these courts.
They don't.
They eat some more stew. Illyrians have a very stew-based cuisine.
Yeah, they
cold.
do.
It's cold, you guys.
fine. There's other. I guess there's other
weather.
food. Yeah. Or maybe she's trying to humble them and be like, "Oh, we can eat peasant food too."
It's not all chicken and asparagus. Yeah. Okay.
Reese is a liberal. He's for the people. He's pro-union.
They get into bed together and they grope. She says she wants to have fun, so he touches her boobs and fingers her. I love how I pull all of the sexiness out of things.
There's really nothing like alluring about that at all.
They kiss. She orgasms. He licks his fingers, but at least he doesn't call it dessert like Thorn did in Fall of Ruin and Wrath.
Okay.
He says a bunch of horny shit, and Feyre falls asleep.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I really needed more romance lead up.
Yeah.
And, like, this is where they finally kiss while his fingers are inside of her.
Yeah.
It's just like, I will never not be annoyed.
Yeah, that's not really a romance story, first kiss. But at least you orgasmed after the kiss. That's how you know it's true love.
Yeah. I also love that I literally lifted 2 fingers and showed him. Like, this is what's happening. She's like, no, please, God.
If you lifted 3, that means she's a whore.
Well, here's the weird thing, too, is when Feyre talks about it the next morning, she talks about still being kind of sore. And I'm like, you should not be sore from that light of fingering.
Does that mean Tamlin has like
it means a lot is what it means. Yeah.
It's our hardest take yet. Tamlin has a micro penis.
He's got a final dick.
They leave and train some more, not talking about the fingering the night before.
God, no.
Someone shoots Reese's wings while they're flying. They fall, and they kind of, fall apart and separate. So Feyre stops herself from hitting the ground with magic, and then she winnows a whole bunch to avoid the enemies and try to find where Reese is.
I will say this till I die. She got too good at all this magic too fast.
Yeah, she did.
It really did suddenly happen.
Like, she's not bad at any of this. She's like,
no, she's hyper
fireball.
competent
Yeah.
in this part. So she tracks Reese and the people who took him. At least that's a skill she probably already had.
Yeah, fine.
Hunting.
She's allowed.
She kills the guards or soldiers or whoever the fuck it is. And she frees Reese. They escape to a cave. She removes the arrows from him, but he's still poisoned because they're like ash arrows with poison on them. Mm-hmm. So they hide in the cave, but Feyre doesn't know what to do, so she decides to summon the Suriel again.
I love how easy this is for her. She's like, well, I just gotta go get some raw chicken and a cloak. And like magic, the Suriel shows up no matter where she is.
They're best buds.
Yeah. So, the Suriel shows up, and Feyre asks what the poison is and how to cure it. The Suriel tells her that it's bloodbane and that her own blood will heal him because the Summer Lord has healing abilities that he gave Feyre and that whole blood exchange thing. Also, there's some pink flower down by the river that will help. I don't know why we needed that addition.
I don't know.
And I was like, hell yeah, some vampire shit's going to happen.
That's probably why. If it was just blood, it would have been too vampire-esque.
So during this exchange, the Suriel casually refers to Reese as Feyre's mate. Feyre's like, what?
I do kind of like this because then you realize, if you don't know any spoilers going into the books, that when the Suriel was like, stay with the High Lord, she wasn't talking about Tammy.
Yeah.
She was talking about Reese. That's like, okay, clever. Fine, Sarah, I'll give you that one.
Mm-hmm. So she goes back to the cave and gives the blood and the flowers, and nothing particularly vampy happens, which is very disappointing. And she asks how long he knew. He says since they were under the mountain with Amarantha, and also Mor and Amryn know.
Because he told them.
Yeah.
Can't keep a secret.
It's literally the first thing he said when he landed. They were like, oh my God, you're back. He's like, I have a mate.
Yeah.
She asked why he didn't say anything, and he says she was happy with Tamlin. He says how much it hurt hearing her the night before, that she only wanted him for having fun.
Okay. I don't think this is the right place for this.
No.
No.
Okay. But also, it's just like, I don't really feel anything about this because you reap what you sow.
Right.
You chose not to tell her about any of this. So don't go crying over shit that you could have changed had you said something and treated her like an adult human woman.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of in Fourth Wing and also maybe Fifth Wing when Xaden is like, I'll tell you anything. Just be hyper specific in what you ask.
Yeah, you mean all of Fifth Wing? That's what happens in all of Fifth Wing.
Yeah, that's some bullshit emotional labor.
If you had just asked me if I was your mate, I would have told you the truth.
Yeah. I feel like he could have, maybe it would have, I don't know, pushed things too fast. Well, they were already groping in the night court. But I feel like when he was saying like, you don't know what you want after they did like that heavy petting in the night court, he should have been like, there's things you don't know. There's like maybe hints or something that he knows for her to maybe kind of like pick up on this. Yes. Like if he's this feminist, let her choose.
Right.
Maybe he's a pro-life
feminist. It's not a feminist.
No, I know, but like that's how he's supposed to be written.
Yes. But yeah, he doesn't. This is where I'm like, the romance beats are all fucked up.
Yeah.
Like this is something that should have had some sort of hint to it before. And like, yeah, she was trying to say there are little hints. I'm like, okay, yeah, they were tiny little microscopic hints, but the character has to see something.
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't notice anything.
No.
She just notices like the sexual tension.
Yes.
Like, and at the point that they're in the night court, like she's basically over her relationship with Tamlin. Like she sees it as being abusive, and like neither of them are in this good point. And then past what happened under the night court, it becomes like abusive and controlling and not what she wants or needs. And then she goes through this beautiful journey of growth with her trauma and realizing that she has people who support her, and she starts realizing she has feelings for him and maybe like a sexual sense, and then we can maybe build the emotional with that post, hey, there's things you don't know, there's you know, I don't know.
Yeah, there were ways that
this was
could
weird
have been
here.
done really well. But, you know, like I said, romance beats are all F up.
She needed a third act breakup is really the point. Yes. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, she needed something, and it was not this.
No.
I think in her eyes, this is the third act breakup.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For like 2 chapters. Anyway, sorry.
So Feyre demands that now that he's healing, he winnow them back to the Illyrian camp. I don't
Because
know
for some, I know, I was gonna say she can't now after she winnowed everywhere.
Yeah.
She immediately asks Moore to take her away somewhere. Moore takes her to a teeny cabin in the high mountains. It's magically warded, and Feyre has access because she's Rhys's mate. And then Moore leaves her alone. End of part 2. Beginning of part 3. Feyre takes an angry bath.
I'm sorry, but being angry is a shower activity. Like,
It really is.
who the fuck takes an angry bath?
Just float there and
Just
mope.
get in there and you, like splash around a lot. Just be like, no. I hate bubbles.
She gets bored very quickly and finds paints while she's snooping around.
Do you think that the Bat Boys had a paint and sip party at some point? Is that why there's paint here?
They actually make a reference to this. I think it was Amryn was trying to learn how to paint.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like mine better, though.
Yeah.
She paints for several days, and when Moore shows up, she comments on it. We realize at this point that Feyre has been painting the cabin, like the walls of the cabin, which is rude as fuck in my opinion, not to mention tacky.
Yeah, because you don't like painted wood.
Yeah, I don't like painted wood.
But also, like, she's painting people's eyes on the cabin walls.
Yeah.
And, like, there's no way anyone's going to want to set foot in this cabin again.
So middle school to
It
me.
is. Random eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to doodle your eyes on this piece of paper because it's so boring in this class. Like, she could have done, like, a mural. She could have done all sorts of tasteful things. But
I feel like, there's beautiful painted furniture out there. Like, I've been eyeing some. And it's kind of, you know, it's like muted colors or like blocked, you know, colors. It's gorgeous. And like, or you could paint it so it kind of like looks like wallpaper somehow, you know, like intentional, but it kind of feels like a crackhead just got it, you know? Also, this is definitely the line where everyone reads into it and they're like, is Feyre a terrible painter? Because
yes,
Moore walks in and she's like,
yeah,
wow, you really did something here.
I believe she says, wow, you've been busy.
Yeah, like you could totally read that as a diss.
It's like, wow.
For some reason, she talks to Moore about Moore being into Asriel, and I don't know how that comes up. So Moore stays the night. Feyre thinks about what it would look like if she actually like stopped being pissy and decided to be Rhys's mate. Like, oh no, he's hot, rich, and values my independence.
Yeah, cauldron forbid it.
After that, Rhys shows up at the cabin. This is the whole chapter that's like a monologue of his life story since the war and how he figured out that Feyre was his mate. Sarah retcons the whole thing with Claire from the first book. Apparently, Rhys thought that it was a fake name that Feyre gave him, and that's why he told Amarantha. He also mentally took away Claire's pain, and eventually Mercy killed her as she was being tortured.
Yeah, see, he's not evil. He's just morally gray.
It's seriously just a recap of everything so far from Rhys's point of view.
Yeah,
this entire chapter.
There's fan fiction on that we could read.
Oh my god, and it's just so lengthy. Like, it's just like massive paragraph after massive paragraph, and I'm like, this is not like John Galt speech level lengthy, but like this is something.
Yeah.
So Feyre tells him she loves him.
With soup.
Yeah, as I said, it's a stew-based culture.
Oh, wait. Also, I'm sorry, but it's canned soup.
It's canned soup.
So like
canned soup exists in this world.
I know. So like, do they have trains? Like, do they have industry? Like, again, these queens come out of nowhere.
You know,
where do they import these soups from?
I read a book.
Is that what the dad is in charge of?
He's importing, exporting soup.
Yeah. Come full circle. Sorry, I've cut you off like 7 times, Tabitha. I'm sorry.
I read a book about the history of food poisoning and
botulism, right?
Well, there's a whole section about the history of how we figured out canned foods because it was pretty terrible for a long time. A lot of people got like lead poisoning, from the can. And it makes you stop and think, like, did they go through that whole process in this world too? Or did they just like magic it right away?
I'm sure it's just magic.
After they have soup, they make out on the table and he eats her out.
He's a gentleman.
And he fingers her and she comes. Then she comes again. I couldn't really follow what was happening here.
But more importantly, they do this on the paints.
Yeah.
They are covered in paint. So you see the metaphor is now complete. Before in part 1, like she was traumatized and didn't want to paint at all. Like the idea of painting just like made her want to vomit. And then after weeks and weeks of deprogramming, she suddenly wants to paint. And now that she knows she's Rhys's mate and therefore is no longer connected to Tamlin, now they can fuck in the paints because she's healed by the mating bond.
I like kind of hate that you explained this. I was just, it's good. It comes full circle. It's a nice metaphor. I mean, I got the metaphor of her like not being able to paint, being connected to her trauma, but like, I just thought it was supposed to show that, like they're fun when they have sex, not boring and vanilla like Tamlin. Like they do it doggy style, like.
I actually think it's both. I think you're both right.
No, I think we are both right.
No, I think you're right.
I think mine is probably more problematic in that it's like, find another dude to love and everything will be fine.
Yeah. Well, you didn't write it. It's not.
Fair enough.
So they move to the bed and have sex. She has a perfect vaginal orgasm. Maybe it's a Faye thing.
Well, again, Tamlin had a pencil dick, as we talked about.
Yeah.
And Rhys comes too.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So all of Sarah J. Maas's men roar during completion. It's just like, roar.
God, they're so insufferable.
I know.
So
and
disconcerting.
In other parts of this series, when they're having sex, like they talk about how loud they are and like the roaring plays a part. And I'm like, dude, your siblings are in the same house as you. And like you apparently have canned soup, but not soundproofing capabilities and or magic. I mean, like you can have fun, but like at least be respectful to other people
I guess
in the
they're
house.
just not as puritanical as us.
I mean, sorry, yeah, like.
Well, this is where I'm like, this is so frat coded. This whole thing is so frat coded. Yeah, it's like they all live in a frat house. They're all just having like wild, loud sex. And
oh my God.
I mean, this is how I assume frat houses are. I've never been in one.
Well, they're gross, first off. And people just, I don't know. The only thing I could think about every time I said that, I'm like, this is foul. You've never washed the sink. And every person in this house has never washed this sink. Yeah. And I just walked by someone doing it on that sink. And I want to throw up. You're so right. This is so frat coded.
Rhys has never washed a sink in his life.
No. Oh my God. No. Tabitha, please continue.
They take a bath and discuss marriage. They get out of the bath and she blows him and they fuck again. Rhys tells her that all the fucking is a mating frenzy.
Okay. I saw someone on TikTok say that S.J. Maas's like mate stuff in ACOTAR is basically like Omegaverse light, which they're absolutely correct. But in Omegaverse,
I think people are using the word Omegaverse too much now.
Yeah, I agree. But in the Omegaverse, or usually when there's mates, there's like a mate, like a bite that happens that like triggers the final bond. Like you can tell that you're mates, but maybe you don't. It's kind of like the Omegaverse marriage, if you will, or werewolf marriage. Don't want to get accused of throwing Omegaverse around too much. But like, what do you think in here triggers this mating frenzy? Because during the soup, she's like, yes, I'll be your mate. But that's, at least it's how it's described in the book. That's basically her just accepting the bond, because remember, people can like reject it and not want it. But like, does the soup trigger the mating frenzy, or is it when they finally have P and V sex? Is it they both have to orgasm at the same time? Like, there's no bite or anything.
There isn't.
So what is then triggering this?
I think it's literally just her acceptance of his weird, magical, like.
Yeah, maybe they create a mental link. I was just about to make a Star Trek reference.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
No.
You haven't yet. I don't think I've talked about Hermione yet, so.
I haven't talked about horses either.
All right, well, Vulcans are touch telepaths.
Yeah, we just watched that video.
And they can essentially do like so they'll identify people that they have a compatibility with mentally, and there's a word for it in Vulcan culture called like a thyla, and you can essentially like choose that person and do a ritual that creates a link between the two of you. So maybe it's just something like that where you're both like, okay, we're both accepting that we're going to bond in this way, and then they like mentally connect because they have that mental connection, and they're like, okay, it's done.
So the soup.
Yeah, maybe it's the soup.
Yeah,
maybe it's
basically,
magic.
because like it is kind of magic on his end. It's just like, well, it's you. It just is. I don't know how to explain that. And she's like, okay, I accept that it's magic and that we're gonna do this.
Boom.
And then boom, like the make's like
think
mating
this.
frenzy.
I think this universe has the worst thought out concept of mates. Like there did not have to be mates in here at all.
No,
it could have just been that Reese fell in love with her. Like it did not have to be this.
Oh, for sure, it didn't need to be this way. No.
They talk about whether they want kids. And there's a brief mention of a tonic that Feyre can take, which is the first reference I have seen in this series to fairy birth control. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I always wonder.
So, like, did she not take it with Tamlin? Or, like, did we just
not.
assume that he was, like, unable to?
Or withholding.
Yeah.
I think she was expected to bear many, many children in the spring court.
I think so, too.
Whereas Reese is, like, letting her have the choice, you know, like a shitty feminist.
Yeah. Like,
Don't worry, baby. I'll let you have a choice. So Reese winnows them to the Illyrian camp, and Cassian immediately starts saying a bunch of sexual stuff about Feyre to get Reese worked up.
Frat boy culture.
The two of them fight for like an hour, and then he comes in and is super sexy with his blood and mud and sweat, and Feyre needs to bone down. Apparently, Maura and Cassian wait outside while they have sex on the table. Reese hands like a fucking rag for Feyre to clean up with, and the four of them winnow to Valaris.
Okay, I've read this book twice now. And the first time I read this, I was like, what on earth? And the second one was like, okay, I can see this a little bit better. But also, it's like, I was embarrassed for them.
Yes!
Because literally no one seems to have any shame in this universe. And again, like, yeah, it's this frat house coded.
Also, they say it's cold outside, which means that, like, Cassian and Maura just, like, standing out there listening to them have sex on the communal table.
Yeah. And they're in this, like, hut, right? Like, they're not even in, like, a brick and mortar house.
Yeah.
Okay, romance authors, you can be sex positive without having your love interest fuck in front of their friends. And family. Please stop making them do it. It's not normal. I don't think it's cool.
Yeah.
Who do you hang out with? Like, who are your... You're just
Yeah.
only friends with, like, sex workers? That's, like, the only way I can think that this would make sense. And this is not to shame sex workers, but,
No,
like,
I think
who
that
else
sex
would
workers probably have a very good professional personal device.
They probably do.
Yeah.
And I bet they have excellent hygiene.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. They would not be doing it on tables you're about to eat off of. Good point. I can't picture anyone else who would be comfortable with doing it in front of other people.
On top of that,
Very immature people.
I guess so.
think.
Yeah. Like those kids in high school who are like making out at like a...
I was having a really hard time
in
with
the
this
line
book
at
too.
amusement parks and stuff.
I was having a hard time with this book too, and that like it still is straddling that YA new adult line.
Yeah.
It still is not totally there, even though all these things have happened. That was the one moment when they just started to like have sex on the table. Everyone's outside waiting for them to stop having sex, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Is this YA or is it new adult or what is it? Because that was the moment where I just broke. I was like, I
whatever
can't.
you want.
Like, what is going on right now?
So after this, they all eat dinner, stew, I assume, and fly to the mortal lands. Only 2 queens are visiting this time, the old one and the gold one, since Feyre won't learn their names.
Shocking how things shake out. Shocking, I say.
They decide to go ahead with showing the queens Valaris and do so by using the Veritas, which is an apple-sized orb that basically like projects Valaris onto the floor. It's like a remote viewer thing, I assume.
The names of these two things are like too similar for me.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
Valaris
why
and
do they
Veritas.
need to be like that?
Yeah.
Well, Veritas is obviously, truth in Latin, but like
Right.
Valaris.
But there's other words.
Oh, for
there's
sure.
other languages we could have pulled.
That implies a Roman Empire existed in
It
this
does.
universe.
It does indeed imply that, doesn't it?
So the queens hem and haw and say they will think about it. But when Nesta tells them to give Feyre and Reese the book, because this is Nesta's negotiating skills here, they say no. The queens winnow out, but the gold one leaves something behind. In a lead box is the Book of Breathings. Feyre's sisters are offered to be taken to Valaris for their safety, but they opt to stay in their house.
Idiots.
Yeah. So I think I finally understand what's going on at this point in this book, which is that they need the book because the book is going to tell them how to nullify the power of the cauldron, and the King of Hybern is planning to use the cauldron to do bad stuff in the upcoming war.
Yeah, you remember that one time when we took a walk around for
Yeah.
Like we took 2 cycles around, and
you reminded me of what the book was about.
We talked about the book for like 30 minutes. I was like, here's what happens. Okay, now here's what happens.
It's because it's not talked about at all in the first book. Mm-hmm. We talk about the cauldron. We discuss how like the mother or something tipped over the cauldron, created the universe, and then randomly there's a book.
We get 2 books.
2 books that make 1 book.
Yeah.
Which
I just thought they were 2 halves of a book that have been like ripped apart. You didn't need that sound effect, but you're welcome.
All right. So Amren takes the book to translate, and people continue preparing for war. Feyre and Rhys write gross magic notes to each other. Things like, I'm missing that impressive wingspan in my bed inside me. The wingspan?
Yeah, it doesn't work as a metaphor.
No, it doesn't. And then, so I'm dying at picturing this as a human metaphor. I'm missing that impressive shoe size in my bed inside me. Like, ugh, foot sex, barf. Like, ew. Just Sarah.
Feyre goes shopping. While out, her and Cassian see a force advancing in the sky towards the cities. It's a ton of creatures that are whatever the adder is. Remember the adder from the first book?
Batty, but not sexy.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the quote-unquote lesser fae.
Which means they're ugly.
They drop the dead Gold Queen who gave them the book, and they say it is courtesy of the queens and Jurian. Feyre runs. There's a huge battle, yada yada. People are dying. She decides to defend the artist quarter since she thinks of them as her people.
Yeah, F everyone else.
Yeah. Also, girl.
With your eyes, really.
Yeah. Then she winnows up into the sky. She decides she specifically is going to kill the adder.
How does she know?
I don't know. Maybe he's got like blonde hair or something.
Yeah.
It is therefore marked for death.
Yeah. He's got like a little lapel.
Yeah.
That says like, hi, I'm George.
He gets the special hat to show he's in charge. So she winnows on top of it and then jams a couple of ash arrows into its wings. Like fire hugs it, like hugs it, and then sets herself on fire, so it sets it on fire too. And then stabs it a bunch. It's all very badass.
Yeah.
So after the adder's dead, Rhys finds her and hugs her. But it's a normal hug, not a fire hug.
Listen, I'm going to say something crazy right now. Rebecca Yarros does action way better.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Yeah. I think like Sarah J. Maas does almost everything else better.
Yeah.
But even that is like, okay. I will say like this whole section with the fighting, I mean, it very much smacked as like the X-Men. But Feyre had all of their powers.
Right. Because she's basically like...
did it all herself.
Yeah. Who's that blue guy again? Tabitha?
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, she's basically like Nightcrawler.
Yeah, she's like bamfing everywhere.
Well, this would be like if Rogue felt up everyone.
You're right.
And then absorbed their powers.
Right, right. She is Rogue then. She's basically Rogue.
Yeah, but there's but no one's like dying if she touches them though.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know if it actually happens or not.
No, I don't think it does. But she is basically that.
Yeah, yeah.
So over the night, they all manage to secure the city, like the force retreats. Mm-hmm. Feyre tells Rhys that this isn't his fault, but like it is.
It is specifically his fault. I have this whole thing about it because I feel like this dude put his city at risk after refusing to see the queens as anything other than weak mortals, like who couldn't hold a candle to him in terms of power because he's just like, I am the highest High Lord ever. And who are these weak mortal queens who apparently all live together in a sorority house somewhere? We don't even know how they rule. So like they played him so fucking hard because he just couldn't wrap his mind around a few human queens deciding to sidestep him and ally themselves with a dude just like handing out immortality. Like, why wouldn't they go that route? And like the signs were all there. They were right there. Like they weren't going to do it. Like no matter what he was going to do with them, they were like, nah, see ya. Like, and he just fell right into their trap.
Yeah. I have nothing to add except for, he was just dumb.
Amren translates the books and says that they will need to speak a spell while touching the cauldron, which sucks because it is in Hybern. So they plan a trip to Highburn.
But do they like plan it, or do they just decide to go there? Because
they
I
just
feel
decide.
like minimal planning was done, either like on page or off page. They just basically wing the whole thing.
Yeah, it was like, we must have revenge. We must do this right now. And on top of that, though, it's like she's running out of space. We gotta do this right now.
Yeah,
like,
that's
this
what
book
I mean.
is too long.
The book's so long already, and it's number 2.
So Rhys and Feyre go to bed, and he gives her the ring she took from the Weaver, which is his mom's ring, as her wedding ring. And I don't know, but wedding rings seem really stupid when you're like actual mates.
Yeah. It's just boring. And I think like crass is not the right word, but just tacky. Like making her get her own engagement ring, you're no longer a feminist icon. Also, there's this one line of dialogue that I highlighted, which is Feyre going, do you want me to wear it? And Rhys says, only if you want to. Like, worst fucking proposal ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So lame.
So Mor, Rhys, Feyre, Cassian, and Asriel all prepare to go to Highburn. Feyre has the books, and they keep saying weird shit to her. You also got to keep them separate because it's going to get weirder if they're together.
Yeah.
So they go to the sea door on a cliff on which the castle is set, this is the worst plan. You're literally just entering the castle through a door.
Yeah, I know. Like they don't actually know that door exists or anything.
No, but Feyre's got some special magic, or Rhys does, that will like, the wards. They won't tell that they've like broken through the wards somehow. It's baloney.
Feyre can feel the cauldron, and she directs them where to go. They go down a deep, dark stairwell, and there it is.
Yeah, it's all super fast because, again, we are running out of time.
Yeah. Feyre looks into the cauldron. She sees, like, black swirliness. She touches it. She feels all the emotions. And then she's about to say the words, but then the books are like, hey, you know what would be great is if you put us together. And Feyre's like, oh, yeah, double-strength books. And then she just slaps those 2 books together before anyone can stop her. She tries to fight this like pool that the books have and say the words, but Asriel snaps her out of it because it's going off the rails.
Can you imagine what this must have looked like?
Everyone was like, Feyre, don't do the thing. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do the thing. And then immediately, without saying a word to anyone, she just does the thing.
Yeah. And then she's like having like this deep conversation with a book. And it's like,
I was picturing it all taking place in her head and her basically just like going cross-eyed. You know, like when your eye's unfocused and the one just kind of like goes off to the side. That's what I pictured her doing, snapping. The whole thing as it was happening, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I know, again, this is trying to like show the power that these objects have, but it was so random and weird.
Yeah, it was. So then Jurian walks in.
and again, I was like, who the fuck is this?
Like, he was supposed to be a good guy. Now he's randomly evil, and we're just like, no one remembers who he is. And he was like a finger or like an eye on someone's finger for years. Like, whatever.
I was also very confused about why Jurian, of all people, the king of Highburn, is going to try this on first.
Yeah.
Like, why did he think that Jurian would be like, yeah, totally, king of Highburn, let's meet up? Like, because he was the enemy. Like,
yeah.
why are you like?
And then he was tortured by Amarantha for forever by being like
yes,
a necklace
Amarantha,
on a ring. Yeah.
The king of Hyburn's lady. Like, it's like, but why?
And then randomly Hyburn's like, I'm gonna bring him back.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's gonna be on my side now. Which
I feel like there's some kind of reason that involves Miriam.
No, it does. They talk about it in ACOTAR, but it's stupid.
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad that Miriam and what's her face got together.
Yeah, but like, how does Hybern know that? Does he like talk to the eye?
He just assumed.
Yeah. Man to man, I know you're going to be pissed.
It's just like, listen, I'm part of the patriarchy. You're part of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
I know you're.
I know it's been 1,000 years and you've been tortured the whole time, but you're probably real still pissed about that one girl and how she picked another guy. So
good guys don't finish last.
Destroy a civilization with me.
Yeah.
So Jurian and Rhys bicker. I don't know. There's a lot of bullshit back and forth in this book between characters. So they bicker, and then the king of Highburn appears in the doorway and shoots Asriel in the chest with an ash arrow.
I had to pull this quote because the king of Highburn literally says, "The trap was so easy. I'm honestly a bit disappointed you didn't see it coming." And like, I mean, seriously, it was
the whole thing.
You brought all of them. The only person who you left is Amren,
but
the rest of you went, and you're like, "It'll be fine."
But also, like, why the fuck doesn't he just kill him right now?
He has to monologue
Yeah,
first.
come on.
The king also, like, does something so that they can't use their powers for the moment. They head up to the throne room where the throne is made out of bones, which is the coolest thing about this place. And then out of the shadows in the throne room step Lucien and Tamlin.
Tamlin and Lucien. Again, I'm like, why do we like Lucien?
Well, that was kind of like, we don't like Lucien.
Yeah, that was like kind of a fun twist for me. Yeah, I was like, what? Tamlin?
Yeah, everyone's like, Tamlin is the one who betrayed everyone, but we still love Lucien. I'm like, Lucien was right there.
I know, but he does like 2 nice things in ACOTAR.
Turns out Tamlin made a deal with the king that if he retrieved Feyre, Tamlin would allow the king's forces to enter Prythian through the Spring Court. Tamlin is delusional, thinking Rhys somehow forced Feyre to be his mate, and he tries to command her back to him.
Like Tamlin, let's be real. You don't even like Feyre. Let it go and go fuck that slutty priestess, and it'll be fine.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Thank you.
He has never liked her.
No.
Let's just be honest.
Like, even in the first book, he, like, reluctantly, I feel, starts being nice to her. Again, I know it's, like, a Beauty and the Beast thing, but he doesn't, like, enjoy that he has to, like, fall in love with her. And then even, like, their little high school, romance at the end is just... It's boring. Mm-hmm. And then after Under the Mountain, he's like, I can't even see you, basically.
Yeah, he wasn't into it.
Which, again, I know is the trauma, but...
Yeah, but still, he didn't want to be there in the beginning.
Just move on, guys.
To make things even more complicated, the king brings in the 4 remaining queens, and then Feyre's sisters, gagged and bound. So everybody bickers. We find out Ianthe is the one who sold out Feyre's sisters to Hybern.
God, she sucks so bad.
And Tamlin's like shocked too when he finds this out.
Yeah.
We also find out the queens entered a deal to be made Fey, like Feyre, but that the cauldron would be the one doing it this time because it's so volatile. They are testing it on Nesta and Elaine first. Okay. I feel like a lot of jumps are being made here, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we're running out of pages.
Yeah. So here's a quote from the chapter. Elaine, who Nesta would have killed and whored and stolen for. And look, it's Feyre saying this. I'm sorry, but they were in a bad way for many years, like living barely at survival level. Nesta could have done all of those things to help. I mean, the whole family, but specifically Elaine, and she didn't. It's so easy to say she could do this, but she didn't, and she had the opportunity to. They left it all on Feyre.
Yeah, would have is nice and all, but yeah, she didn't do those things at all. So like, she just sat and bitched the entire time. And I do feel like this is the beginning of her like attempt to make Nesta palatable.
Yes.
And sorry, but
that ship has sailed.
Yeah, but if Nesta did all those things, then it also would have helped her father, who she fucking hated. So she couldn't, cut off your nose to spite your face.
If she had whored herself out. Because that was one of the things that Feyre was worried that she would do by leaving.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, here's an opportunity. But no, she didn't even do it then when Feyre left.
Well, that's because Tamlin paid for everything.
That's very true.
Yeah. So they toss Elaine into the cauldron, and then they pour her out, and she comes out looking fey. By the way, Tamlin is collared and gagged with golden light right now because he's like being so alpha and aggro. they gotta leash him. Next, they toss Nesta into the cauldron. Feyre barfs, snatch. Nesta also comes out looking fey, but also like weird, like somehow too intense. And I know this gets talked about in other books, but we don't know what is going on right now.
No, but Feyre also describes her as like so beautiful, like so much from this point on. It's honestly a little weird. Like, calm down. You're not ugly.
Yeah. At this point, Lucien is trying to like help Elaine up and decides it's time to announce in this moment that Elaine appears to be his mate.
Yeah.
Read the room.
Okay. I have to briefly talk.
Please go.
Because like, I hate him. I have seen some people leap to this man's defense by discussing his trauma from his father killing his love interest many years ago. But may I remind everybody that this incident happened a freaking long time ago, and he has had multiple opportunities to grow past his trauma. But instead, he's decided to pile yet more trauma on top of this character that is in the middle of experiencing a trauma. So like, fuck this dude, and why are we prioritizing him and his feelings above hers?
I just had this thought. We have canned soup, but not therapy. This universe. But this is like the newest theory that he actually announced this to save Tamlin from saying that Elaine is actually his mate, which would put him or her in danger more so than Lucien announcing it. I don't know. I forgot the whole theory, but they have like 3 lines in this section that they bring up. And then in another book, Elaine like describes someone having like a stone heart. So it's going to be Tamlin. Like, first off,
does he still have a stone heart?
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't think so. I thought it was like part of the weird Amaranthan curse. But like, Sarah Janet Maas is not going to make Elaine and Feyre Eskimo sisters. Like, I don't have a better way to say that.
Oh my God.
But she's not.
No, it is not going to happen. I think we all understand that there is such a thing called narrative structure, and when you have 3 main male characters and 3 main female characters, you match them up in books.
I mean, for me, ideally, she would put Tamlin and Lucien together. That was my
that'd be great.
Ideal. But this series is far too heteronormative for that.
Like, there's one gay character later.
Do they get to be gay,
in
or
the
they
third
just
book?
said
Maybe
that they're gay?
I don't know. When does the one become gay?
I think it does happen. I believe it's in.
It doesn't happen in 2 because it hasn't happened yet.
I don't remember when it happens, but yeah, there is one male gay character.
Oh, I was talking about more.
Okay, well,
I was gonna say, do they actually get to be gay with someone though, or is it just like, oh wait,
I don't think he's gay. Actually, you can cut all this. I think it's. I think that there's one.
Oh no! One of the High Lords has like a guard who like they're gay together. I think they're mates.
Yeah. Or, I don't know about that.
They don't like do gay shit on the page besides like hold hands. But
Moore is certainly
gay.
Bi.
Yeah.
Gay.
Oh yeah. Well, her mate's a woman.
Oh, I didn't know that there was.
Or sorry, female, as they're called in the book.
I don't remember that happening, so I'm going to go back and read.
So sorry. That's like, I've seen all of this art and talk. I've spoiled everything by running the TikTok page.
All right. Moving on.
Yeah.
Feyre puts on a show of magic and pretends to have broken free of Rhys's spell on her. Well, what she's actually doing is distracting everyone from removing the castle wards. I don't know why she had to wait until now to do this. There's a lot going on. Like, she felt like the king's hold kind of leave and she's able to do magic again. I don't know. Rhys plays along. She tells him to remove the bond, for Rhys to remove the bond. The king does it because Rhys refuses, quote unquote, refuses.
So I have so many questions about this. Like, who can just remove bonds?
I don't know. I thought that it actually happened until the second book. And then I was like, oh, wait, it didn't actually happen.
But like, this suggests that it is actually a possible thing to do.
Right.
And that the King of Hybern is.
Oh my God. This is what's going to happen for Elaine and Lucien.
Yeah. See? So this suggests that you can remove a bond. You just have to find someone powerful enough to do it.
Oh, sad for Lucien.
Is it?
Well, I mean, I know how you feel, but.
So the bond breaks. Feyre faints.
I'm surprised she didn't throw up.
I'm surprised she didn't poop herself. She comes to, and the Night Court people winnow out with her sisters. The king is pissed when he realizes that Feyre doesn't have the Book of Breathing. She, like, slipped it to somebody who left. So then the next chapter is from Rhys's point of view. It's the first time this has ever happened. It's just so we, like, know what's happening at the Night Court. Amren asks where Feyre is. Rhys explains, letting us know that the bond that was broken was only for the deal that they made involving the tattoo under the mountain with Amarantha. The one where he could, like, remote spy on her. Not the mating bond. That did not get broken. It's just been, they suppressed it so people can't tell it's there. Mm-hmm. He tells her that what Feyre is doing is both sacrificing herself and infiltrating the enemy at the moment.
She's so cool.
He also admits that the night before this all happened, he swore her in as a high lady of the Night Court. So they, like, got magic married and did some magic shit with a priestess so that she's, like, for real the magical ruler of the Night Court.
This is, like, so Las Vegas wedding coded.
Okay, so back to Feyre. She arrives back in the spring court, and she is a gentle maiden, confused by her trials and in love with the big, strong beast man. It is very obvious that Lucien knows she's full of shit, but Lucien can get bent.
Yeah, it's obvious to me Lucien would tell her out immediately. But Elaine is probably the only thing that stops him.
Yeah.
All right, and that is the end of book 2.
And we end on chapter 69.
Nice.
Beautiful. Do you think that was planned?
I don't know. Sarah doesn't seem like she's into this middle school humor.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, for the wrap up. Everyone told me that this was the best book in the series. And they were like, oh, just power through ACOTAR, and this is going to be so good.
I have to interject here and say that everybody is me and Emma.
No, like everyone else.
A lot of people online think so too.
Yeah, a lot of people
we
online.
did both say that we liked it.
I spoke to several people in person that I told I was reading this series to, and they said the same thing. I guess it is better than ACOTAR, but not by that much. I think this made me realize I really just don't like Sarah J. Maas.
Well, sorry, we're reading more.
So many more.
Like, I get that Feyre is meant to be the, like, fish out of water trope. Mm-hmm. Like, she's the odd man out because of her being formerly human. So she doesn't know a lot about how the fairy world works, but she is so dumb. She's so breathtakingly dumb that I can't identify with her in any sense. And I don't have to identify with the protagonist to enjoy a book, but I can't be constantly distracted by how stupid the choices they're making are. Mm-hmm. And I say, like, her thought processes, but I feel like she has none.
No.
Like, she never questions anything. Like, the whole mate thing could have been better handled if, like, when Brees was explaining how his parents met.
Yeah.
She was like, tell me more about this mate thing. And he got all, like nervous and stuttery or something like that.
Yeah, No.
But no, she's just not a curious person at all.
Yeah.
The men were fairly meh, in my opinion. Again, like frat-like, which doesn't really do much for me.
Yeah.
I guess I liked Amryn and I like Azriel. As I said earlier, I liked Azriel because he's quiet.
Because he doesn't talk.
Yeah. I like the bone carver. This random, entirely
the child
like,
from earlier,
evil,
the child?
neutral character.
I will actually say that chapter is probably the strongest one in the entire book.
She had one good idea. I'll read the rest of the series for the purposes of this podcast, but I really hope you guys don't make me read another one of her books.
We won't. I promise you. You just
I'll do anything else.
You just have to listen to the audiobooks, absorb the knowledge, and Emma and I will handle the rest.
I will do all the rest of the other authors we read. I just don't want to lead. Because we were talking earlier about like how much more attention you have to pay when you take notes on each chapter. And like I loved taking notes for the Fall of Ruin and Wrath. It was a fun time for me. Mm-hmm. But we had to split this into 2 episodes, not just because it's long, but because I had a breakdown. Like I was almost crying in my office when I realized I had half the book to go. So in conclusion, if you like this series, then like good for you. I'm not saying don't enjoy things. You should enjoy things. And nobody should let you be embarrassed. Like, even if it is cheesy, even if you do feel something when you read it, that's fine. That's great. I am very happy for you, and I'm not being sarcastic. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Maura?
I liked that this book had more defined plot than ACOTAR. It has a concrete emotional arc for Feyre under a fairly solid external plot that held up the whole book. Like, we're avoiding war. Here's how we're going to avoid the war. We're going to heist the book. We're going to stop the war by infiltrating the enemy. Oh, no, we've been betrayed. Then it effectively, like, flips the tables on the betrayers leading into the next book. And, like, that's all fine, good. It made me want to pick up the 3rd book. Even if the writing is still not great, even if the relationship notes did not hit right for me, and even if Feyre is a vomit-soaked mess, which she is. Like, I also enjoyed Amryn and Azriel, like Tabitha said, and I really liked Rhys, even though as we wore on, he felt more and more like a baby feminist, as Emma would say. Like, he wound up feeling paternalistic, like, I'll support women so long as I'm the one allowing women to have power, which I know is not how fandom or SJM sees him, but how I wound up viewing him, especially where the Illyrians are concerned. Like he tells them, hey, stop treating your women like shit and allow them to train after they finish their womanly work. And they're still like, nah. And he's like, well, I tried. So discussing the in-world problems and choices that SJM makes regarding her characters is a whole other episode. But this book felt very white, Greek life coded. Like certain sororities pair up with certain frats. The Archeron sorority is totally pairing up with the Bat Boy fraternity. And maybe I'm telling on myself a story. I went to college. Like, yes, it was a huge Southern school. But I was totally the weird classic student. I have not set foot in a frat house.
Like you were a GDI?
Yeah, yes. But the more I read this series, the more I can't unsee that dynamic, and the more it bothers me. This is kind of an aside that doesn't matter. I get that. I ultimately did think that this was a better book in all ways in comparison to ACOTAR, and I enjoyed it enough to read it twice, and I actually liked it more the second time around. But I don't know what that says. I liked it, but I didn't like it. I think I just have a lot of critical thoughts about it.
Yeah, I would say my take is similar. Like, I mean, I talked about this earlier before we started recording, but I really enjoyed reading this. I read it 4 months ago, but I was like, basically didn't stop. I read it in like a couple over a few days, which, was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the plot points. I mean, some of the things were stupid, and I brought that up as we're talking as well. Like, I think Feyre is absolutely a Mary Sue. Like, she's just too good at everything too quickly. She has 100% of all of the powers of the different High Lords, even though she only got a droplet of their tier whatever thing that she got when she was resurrected, which is weird to me, but whatever. It's just a weak magic system. I love the themes of trauma and overcoming them through friendship and found family, and Feyre recognizing her personal strengths and value, because she kind of hated herself a little bit in the last book, and part of that was due to her family being absolute assholes to her. That was lovely. I mean, I think a lot of the other parts of the book could have been cut just because they're just stupid. Did we have to go to the weird witch in the woods to get the ring? Did the full heist that happened in the summer area need to happen? What the fuck was up with the queens?
There was an artist quarter in the city.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler that she could have cut back.
I think that those have purpose.
Why do they talk about stew so much?
Oh my God, yeah. The Illyrians is another part. I just don't really see it, those parts supporting the main plot that much. They made the main plot messier, in my opinion. That whole last heist could have been so much better if we had more time to really move through it and experience all of the emotions that were happening. But instead it was
they had a plan.
Boom, Azrael almost died. Boom, Cassian's almost died. Boom, the queens are there. Oh my God, Tamlin and Lucien. Oh my God, there's the girls are now a stew, and now they're fairies, and then someone's a mate somewhere, and the bond is broken, and what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I panting as I was reading it, because I couldn't even process what was going on.
And like I said earlier in the book, there's a whole chapter that's just let's go out and fight in the woods and flirt a little bit, and that's all that happens.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I enjoyed it as I was reading it. I'm reading the third one right now. It suffers from a lot of the same things, but I like it. I'm gonna keep reading them. I'm really excited for Nesta's book, because I also feel like a bitch like her sometimes. And also, I think the Nesta Cassian pairing, oops, spoiler, is going to be interesting, but we'll see. And I'm reading the Throne of Glass books right now. I'm committed to S.J. Maas now, but she just has a lot of problems in her storytelling,
writing.
Yeah. I mean, line per line really isn't that bad for me. It's really when you start connecting everything, I'm did you even do I mean, I don't know how writers actually so tell me if this is wrong, Maura, but I'm picturing you out there with the post-it notes with the red strings all going together, or things connecting. I'm do we even try any of that, or is it just later you realize?
Yeah, it's called the Story Bible.
Yeah,
you create a really extensive Story Bible for something like this, so that you know all of the rules that you put in place for your world,
right?
And oftentimes it can get away from an author.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you what a rule was here. I mean, whatever. So I enjoy it. I don't, again, sitting down and having to think about all of this is where I start noticing a lot of the problems. When I'm reading it, they're not that bad, besides the Mary Sue that killed me. But I'm just sensitive to that. All right, who do we think we are? Tabitha.
I feel like I am dry and sarcastic enough. I could say I'm Amren, but I'm
vampire stuff too.
Yeah. I'm gonna once again go with the surreal. I only show up when I've been specifically invited, and I will exchange hard truths for warm clothing,
which I think is fair.
I love that.
I am gonna take Amren, because I am definitely that person who will disappear from a social situation so I can research a topic that has suddenly grabbed my interest and not resurface until someone forcibly takes away my phone. Also, in the past, I was known for being ominously quiet. So people would project this aura of strange, mysterious onto me, and I see that as being one of Amren's strategies in A Court of Mist and Fury, when none of that was actually.
Yeah, I used to get that too.
Yeah, it's just like she's quiet.
It's
she
like I don't think
super weird and mysterious.
I didn't think you understand how huge of a nerd I am.
I know, right? It's like underneath, I'm thinking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer all the time. I'm not a like secret genius, okay? So yeah, Amren.
All right, Emma, how about you?
I don't know. It was really hard for me to pick who I was, but mostly because I read this book so long ago, and by that it's just 4 months. But after consulting with you both, I think I'm going to say more, even though I literally just said like 10 seconds ago I feel like Nesta. And that's because I think Moore's like bubbly and has like this weird truth power that doesn't make any sense, and I never shut up, which is a similar power. And then also my parents are mean to me, so... But I went to therapy and learned boundaries. So I think therapy would help a lot of these characters.
Yeah, I think everyone here needs to go to therapy.
Get on one of those trains that is apparently in this universe, because we've definitely had the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah,
go to one
a can of soup.
Yeah,
for
a
that
couple
train
cans.
ride.
Yeah, probably. A can opener. And train to one of the places that has therapy and just talk it out. Please.
I wonder if there's some sort of potion equivalent to an SSRI.
Maybe.
I'm sure there is.
There's like a, not to talk about Harry Potter, there's like a calming draught or draft, I don't know, that people take to like relax
a potion
them.
for like,
Dude, I'm sure they've got weed or something in this.
There has to be something.
There's weed in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there has to be drugs of some type.
Yeah, why hasn't Sarah J. Maas talked about drugs yet?
Yeah, drugs this time.
She's a secret Mormon, I'm saying.
Yeah, probably.
She's not. She's Jewish.
No, I know. Yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry.
All right, so that is the end of yet another Sarah J. Maas book. That is the end of A Court of Mist and Fury.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.